Hey y'all, CB here at MBS Welding. We're doing another little pump rig up here. This one I wasn't asked to put a pressure switch on this one. It is a brand new pump. I went ahead and tested it anyway, just to make sure that not only that it worked, but I knew how it was wired. So we can take a look at the pump real quick here. Pretty much white and yellow here is the neutral, blue is the hot, red and orange go together. This would be your low voltage wiring diagram right here, and we're going to run off 110 volts, so we'd be on the low voltage. So you got blue is L1, L1 would be your hot, white and yellow together is L2, which would be your neutral, and then your brown and orange would connect together. And I hooked this up that way and ran it, not a lot. I'm not going to sit there and let it run. I just wanted to make sure it ran, and I figured it would because it's brand new. This isn't one that's been out in the brine and pumped salt water or anything like that. So it ran fine. It sounds great. Obviously, it's brand new, and you can tell by the sound of it. It's a beautiful pump. What we're going to be doing here is fabricating a stainless steel frame, and we're going to be doing CPVC and Schedule 80 plumbing with the cam lock fittings at the end for their hoses, and the one output we're probably going to have to fabricate some kind of a bracket that will give it some support when they have the cam lock hose hooked on it. The other the input, we're probably not going to need that. It's going to be a real short connection, simple. But let's get to work on it. Something I want to show you on this, where I use the heat shrink cold solder tubes. So these tubes have a combination of the heat shrink and the cold solder that melts with the heat gun. And when you want to close off a wire on the end and you want to close off that heat shrink, you can heat it up and squeeze it with pliers like I did there. Next thing I'm going to do is assemble this suction. And there's been a lot of changes in the last, I don't know, decade or who knows how long it's been, where starting to see, I didn't notice before, but starting to see all these different Teflon tapes show up. There's, you know, as I remember it being a young guy putting things together, there was the white OD Teflon tape and that was it. Nowadays you see that they've got yellow and they've got gray and they've got blue, and this is like, I hear people say, oh, the blue's for this and the yellow's for that, and they use all this different stuff, and some of it's really, really thick, and I've tried it and wasn't impressed with the really thick stuff. To be honest with you, I don't know why you would want your tape to be thick. If it's supposed to screw in there and seal, then to me, thinner's better, but I just use the same white OD Teflon tape that I always have used. I never had a problem with it leaking. Never been impressed with the newer, thicker stuff or all the different colors. Now, what I got right here is this is the swab or the dauber for the CPVC solvent, and what that is two of them that I put together. It's two of them out of two different cans, and I put it together to make a double. One of the things that I run into where people have leaks with either CPVC or PVC is they're using it like glue, where they think if you've got it on there, it's good. You need to use that dauber to rub the surfaces as a cleaning action and a solvent welding action. When you're using the people call it glue, and sometimes I call it glue, but in the case with PVC or CPVC, this is solvent welding. There are chemicals that are supposed to clean and soften that plastic so that when you put it together with this solvent, it is the plastic is being welded together. And you need to force contact to do that. You need to actually rub the surfaces with the product. Don't just gob it on there and stick it together. That's my 2 cents on that part. Now here I'm just sizing this thing up, getting some measurements, figuring out what I'm going to do on this stainless steel angle iron frame. And then I've got my piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and use my Affisure permanent marker. Those are the ones that I like. They're available on my Amazon storefront. They're a really good price for a good marker. You know, when you get 100 markers for 20 some bucks, you know, they're good markers, but if you goof one of them up, you just grab another marker. You know, don't sweat it. It's not like paying big bucks for a Milwaukee marker and then having the marker go to shit on you, or you drop it into grease or something and cause it to not work. So what I got my miters laid out, and I've got a bunch of cope cuts laid out, and the 2 cope cut pieces are going to be the cross members. And I've decided you could do this with a plasma cutter. In this case, I decided just to cut all this out with a cutting wheel. And if you're doing this much cutting with a cutting wheel, one of these heavy aprons like I've got on, this one's available on my Amazon storefront. They're a good idea. They save your clothes from getting torn up by the grinding, and they're actually a lot safer. You know, a heavy apron like this is giving you some protection. All right, forgive me here, guys. Give me a minute. Let me do a little advertising for the channel. These are the NBS Welding t-shirts that we got for sale. You can get an NBS Welding t-shirt for $25 plus shipping. If you email Tina at nbswelding@aol.com, then she'll get with you on what your shipping cost is going to be and get you a t-shirt. Now, in the description of my videos, there's links to our Amazon storefront. If you do anything with Amazon, use our link to get there, whether you're buying items on our storefront or just buying something else. It'll help the channel if you use my link. We also are an ARCCAPTAIN affiliate, and the links to the ARCCAPTAIN site is also in the description of my videos. So if you use our ARCCAPTAIN link, then ARCCAPTAIN will know you got there because of me. And if you buy anything from ARCCAPTAIN, use the promo code NBS Welding 5%. You'll get 5% off, and the channel will get a little credit for that. I want to thank y'all for your support. Now, leave me a comment, like my videos, and share them to anybody that you think would enjoy them. Thanks. So I was talking about how it's a good idea to wear that heavy apron, especially when you're running a cutting wheel. It's also good if you're running a wire brush and you ever have trouble with the wire brush getting wound up in your clothes. That apron holds your clothes back, and it's stiff enough that the wire brush won't get hung up in it. But I got them parts cut out. I used the cutting wheel on the grinder, and I got the thing welded together. I pretty much tacked it up, squared it up, and welded all the inside. And then I came to the outside, and I sort of hit everything with a grinder and got everything where there was a little bit of a bevel or a grooved out area there in the top to put a weld into, and then welded the top. And I kept going back with the sanding pad or the wire brush and removing the buckshot and the smoke and the mess that it makes. And I probably spent a little bit more time doing that than I normally would, just because this is stainless. I hope I didn't waste too much time cleaning on it. But the stainless looks nice. And, you know, when I see it with some spatter or some smoke, I just have that natural reaction where I want to remove it. And then there at the very end, I made me a bracket to hold this, give that plumbing some support, and welded it on there. And then I'm getting out the plasma to make my holes. Now I'm making 4 holes to bolt the pump down and 2 holes for the U-bolt to secure that plumbing. And this is what, you know, we end up with. The solid MIG wire, solid stainless MIG wire, I was running with a 75-25 mixed gas, argon and CO2. I've run it with pure argon. That works too. But I like the mixed gas better. Tri-mix is the best if you can get tri-mix for stainless, but I just don't MIG weld enough stainless to justify getting a bottle of it. And I'm pretty happy with how it does with the steel mix that I've got.